in the mother, you develop sexagenarian sexuality, and here you discover a couple of sexagenarians. What attracts you in this type of character?
Well, I mean, when we made the mother, we were quite young. The mother was more than 10 years ago. So for us, Annie Reid's character, the mother, would seem very old. But now we're getting on for being nearly, Annie's 60 this year, and he's older than I am. But we're starting to get closer in age to the characters in this film, The Weekend. So I think that it's almost an accident that we've made these 3 films which feature old people. In the first film, it was really a film about sex and about this old woman whose sexuality was reawakened by the circumstances surrounding her husband's death. And I think the second film was really more about love than sex. There's a film with Pedro Toole and Jodie Whittaker. And then this film is really very different. This film is about marriage. And most films are about the beginning of human relations. Most films are about the dramatic possibilities of a love affair starting. And this is a film about a love affair which has been over for years. And we wanted to make a film which is what happens when a relationship might be coming to an end as opposed to starting up again. But I don't think there's a particular age fetishism at work here. I don't think. Speaking for myself. How do you decide who answers?
You try to be polite.
You try to be polite. You look at each other and say, "Oh, is it my turn?" Very polite.
I want to know, why did you choose to do like a little story with the hotel room in the end, romance with the hotel? Why choosing to have this little story instead of the big one? I think.
Do you mean the little story? What do you mean by the little story?
Well, they are in the hotels,
Yeah.
they decorate everything, and there are some flowers too.
Paint the bill, or what? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Just say that.
Go on, say what you like.
Why did you choose to present that hotel, the way they are in their bedroom, in the hotels, the little funny story at the end when they don't want to pay?
They can't pay. They haven't got
They
it.
can't pay.
Yeah. I mean, when we prepared, we made the bill. We made a kind of accurate bill. We asked the hotel. We said what they might have eaten and one, room service and 2 nights, and they made this bill, and it was really thousands of euros. And the man who made the bill said, "This is nothing. In this hotel, this is nothing, absolutely nothing." People live in that hotel. Well, somebody's just told me the hotel has been gutted. Yeah, it's been gutted. It's now just the front wall has been completely redone. So we've made this little film in the Plaza Athénée, which is nice. It's a little record of what that hotel was. The hotel with Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor, and such a famous hotel has now been completely razed. It's going to be it's destroyed. So I'm pleased with that. Yeah.
They're just rebuilding it behind
Yeah,
the
they're
facade.
doing a massive oligarch rebuild.
Right.
Yeah. But I'm not answering your question because I don't really understand it.
It's difficult
Yeah.
for me to
Yeah.
say exactly
I'm
what
going to try and say it
I
in French. Maybe I'll understand what you're asking in French.
It would be the same in French. Non, mais je sais pas pourquoi cette petite histoire avec la chambre d'hôtel qui est un peu une...
Do you mean a particular part of the big story? You're
Yes.
questioning the end of the film?
Yes. Well,
And
like that.
do you find it difficult or unsatisfactory, or what is your question?
I didn't imagine that you would finish like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, they can't pay and now they just called Morgan
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, well, that's good. That's why.
Well, they're left, then they have nothing. All they have is a hat and a coat, and a mobile phone. And they don't have passports, they don't have any money. They're eventually paying the price for all their responsibility. And yet they're free, they're made free by it. They're made free by having nothing at all. And they're now careless. They're now in the state of carelessness that they've been trying to achieve all the way through the film. Without really meaning to, they're now like kids, they're like teenagers. And the film is full of references to, as you know, to films from the nouveau, which are films about young people experimenting with the world and being alive in a way that's really vivid. And that's what they miss so much. They get old and they don't have those feelings of aliveness anymore, or not with the same strength. It's like a whiskey which is now sort of weak, and so suddenly that aliveness has come back to them. So it seemed to be an appropriate way to end the film.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we got that.
I was just wondering if you had specific movies or books about aging and that couple that inspired you to make this film.
No, I think it was just more our own lives, really. I think it's our own lives, and the three of us have been working together for over 20 years, and during that time, we've all had we've been through, I don't know, 4 or 5 marriages, I think, between us. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 children between us. Different my children go from 22 to 2. Yeah, so life conspires so you have to learn as you go along, don't you? And that doesn't stop when you get old. You're still trying to figure it out. So I think this film is an expression of our attempts to understand our lives as they change. And yeah, once we've made the film, I learnt through screenings and through reading reactions to the film that it clearly is something of a new phenomena that people in England, at least, people over 60 are more likely to get divorced now. That is the biggest spike in the divorce stats, is people over 60, because they want a decent third act to their lives. In my parents' generation, you would, once the children had left home, you would slow down and you'd sit down and you'd wait to die. And now people don't want to do that. They don't need to do that. They live for longer. They're young for longer. They're rich for longer. They want a proper life. And you look very disturbed by this idea. And I think that this film has sort of stumbled unwittingly upon this.
And you're not allowed to stop working now. The economics of society mean that everybody has to work longer as well. Everything's manipulated.
What's been for you Paris?
In this film, you mean?
Yes,
in
for
relation to
you,
the film?
the magic of Paris, maybe, or
Mhm.
what's been for you the city of Paris for this
Well,
movie? And
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Paris is famous for being the city of romance,
Yes.
the city of light. So that's an important counterpoint to this unromantic story. But it's the aspiration of the couple that they would come here to enjoy a romantic weekend, which immediately goes wrong because he's chosen the wrong hotel, etc., etc. Paris is also, for English people, it is a legendary destination. Paris has always been, since time immemorial a legendary and romantic destination. But now, with the train, you know, it's like a fantastically exciting thing. For English people to catch a train to another country is still a very new experience. You've been able to do it for a few hundred years, but for us, it's only like 20 years old, that experience. So that's what people do the weekend. You know, that's what they do. They get a package and they come here. So I think it would be possible to set the film in Berlin or Frankfurt or Barcelona, but it wouldn't be quite as resonant and as important.
Okay.
Your last films seem more intimate in comparison of Notting Hill and Changing Hands.
Yeah.
Is that a weakness from you or budget reasons?
I think it's probably more about, you know, I try and do a big film every few years, and that gives me the financial security to make 3 little films.
Okay.
So every now and then I go to America and make a film, which I'm not making it cynically. I'll make it with real pleasure, but it will let me make films like this, which otherwise I couldn't afford to make, because this was this was even lower budget than The Mother, I think, wasn't it?
I'd say. Yeah,
terms
10 years old.
Yeah.
No, probably, if you adjusted for inflation.
And there's something great about making films for no money, because you have complete control over the film. Nobody bothers how you spend the money, and nobody is interfering with your script, or you make the film that you want to make. I feel like a European person. I don't feel like an American person, so I prefer to work in Europe, and I prefer to work from home.
So what does it mean to include an American actor in this movie for you? An American character?
Well, he changed a lot. He was originally French, and then he was Indian, and then he became American. So that was quite a journey. But the minute he became American, he started to sound like Jeff Goldblum. And so we were writing it for Jeff Goldblum, thinking, I don't know whether he will do it or not, but this guy sounds a bit like Jeff Goldblum, looks a bit like Jeff Goldblum. And we sent it. I'd made a film with Jeff Goldblum a couple of years earlier in America, and we sent it to him, and he responded very quickly.
Yeah.
So we were lucky to have his enthusiastic presence in the film. He's a very strong taste in the film. Very big contrast to Nick. You know, these two men have mirrors of each other, mirror images of each other. But he's wonderful in it. And surprising. He's surprising because to begin with, I think you imagine he's going to be very vain and very, very two-dimensional and vapid. And in fact, he's full of self-doubt and self-knowledge and complexity. I think he found it really well. I can't imagine anyone else doing that well.
No.
Apart from Gerard Lava, of course. Was he very famous, Gerard Lava?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you seen 96 Hours?
He looks a bit else.
It's a new movie, it will come in April this year.
Okay.
It's outside for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
New one.
Next movie with Charles Ronde.
Do you have any idea of about your next movie?
We've shot it. We've already shot it, and I've just started to cut it. It's a film. It's a TV. It's a 2-part TV film, and it's written by a writer called Peter Morgan, who wrote The Queen and Rush. Do you have Rush here? Frost Nixon.
Yes.
Yeah, Frost Nixon. And Peter writes stories about real people, real events, and he wrote this story about a true story about a retired teacher who was accused of murdering his tenant in Bristol, which is a city in the west of England. 3 years ago, he was arrested, and he looks very strange. He looks like a murderer. And when he was arrested, all the newspapers, we have terrible newspapers in England, and the newspapers went nuts, and they all published horrible stories about him, saying that he was a paedophile and a murderer and everything they could rake up. And he didn't do it. He was innocent, and then they found the murderer. But by then it was obviously too late. His character had been destroyed in the newspaper. So it's his story. And one of the reasons I wanted to do it was because I thought the scripts were very good and the story very important. But another reason is he was my teacher. And in fact, when I was at school, he showed us important French films. Like Weekend, he showed me when I was a teenager. So this film, Le Weekend, is partly as a result of his showing me God our films when I was 15, 16.
And what will be the cast for this casting?
It's an actor called Jason Watkins.
Okay.
Right. You what?
You have written something for the future,
For the next one? Well, we have a little
working away.
a slate of, you always have to have, like at an airport, you have to have lots of aeroplanes circling, because you can't rely on one for land, you have to have options. We don't know what we'll do next.
How do you fly right? Something you never know. One day.
Possible. Taxi 5? They may find that.
No more, please. No, more.
It sounds like they're getting worse. Your face is.
It wasn't quite good at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, non-comparison, your body is perfect.
I think you choose the characters, you choose very wisely the characters that are perfect for the
Yeah. They want to go on there. Yeah.
They are amazing.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's hard to judge acting in another language. Like quite often I watch foreign films, or like French films, and I think the acting is amazing, because I don't speak, I don't have the nuance, do you know what I mean? But I think in this case, they really are amazing, the actors, really, absolutely extraordinary, modest performances, but very detailed and truthful.
Do you have actor who you would like to work with? Like the dream?
No, I often get asked that question, but no, I really like actors, and I've learned over the years that casting is so important. If you can cast something really well, then it means that you have to work less as a director. Because if you get the casting right, it's less of a struggle to get the performance. So it's all to do with the project and the part, and to find perfect actor for the part. it's such a tough, it's a hard job, I think, very hard job. So I admire anyone who has a go at it. But I admire lots of, I obviously admire French directors of that period very, very much. Truffaut and Chabrol and Godard. And those were the sort of directors I was brought up admiring when I was very young. And Pasolini and Fellini and, the great European directors, I suppose, had the greatest impact on me when I was growing up. And then a little later, I became interested in American films, and particularly American films from the earlier part of last century. But I have very Catholic taste. I'm very keen to watch a film by Lars von Trier or a film by Spielberg. There'll be something to steal, from anything.
That's funny because the movie quite reminded me of Stanley Donen. That movie, which I don't know the title of in English, I think. Called Hepburn, réalisateur.
Rex Harrison and Audrey Hepburn.
Yeah.
Stanley Donen.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't have the title, I'm so sorry, but I thought of
not My Fair Lady. No.
No, maybe it's not Rex Harrison. No, it's not Rex Harrison. No. See, they are going on a trip regularly to the same place and you see their marriage going on.
Oh, I don't know that film. That sounds great.
But it really reminded me of that. Maybe you should see it.
You should see it immediately.
Or remake it. Yeah, you get a credit.
Oh no. You know it is. Not that one.
You get a
I
blame.
don't trust you, but
Yeah.
I really like that movie. But I don't remember the title.
Fair enough. Good. Enough? Yeah? Anything?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, for notre.
Sure.
Thank you very much.